Hey guys, it's Ross Cotton on the Space Cat. Today we're going to take a look at Padme Amidala's spread in Women of the Galaxy. I do believe it is the longest one in the entire collection, so I'm not sure how long this video will be. So, here we see her in the classic royal attire. This is also very similar to that panel we see in the Princess Leia comic, where it turns to look at her, which was a wonderful moment in that comic. So, there is always a choice. To live in fear is no life at all. One of the galaxy's most optimistic and resilient characters, Padme Amidala Naberi, pours her faith and belief into the people and the government around her, even when they don't behave the way she wishes they would. Her devotion sustains her through a lifetime of public service. She becomes an apprentice legislator. Leia becomes an apprentice legislator. When she's 8 years old, is elected Queen of Naboo at the age of 14, and later serves as a senator representing her home planet. Padme gives her all to the galaxy. Our introduction to Padme in The Phantom Menace is as Queen Amidala, and although young, she's not to be underestimated. The Trade Federation can't trick or intimidate her into signing documents to make their blockade of Naboo legal, and when the Republic refuses to come to Naboo's aid, Padme calls them out. I was not elected to watch my people suffer and die while you discuss this invasion in a committee. To protect Naboo, she breaks down barriers by enlisting the native Gungans as allies against the invading Trade Federation, a partnership no one before her had considered. The strategy works. Her political prowess and bridge building are important and show strength of character far more diverse than the obvious heroes of lightsaber combat or being able to pilot a starship through battle. Though she's an excellent shot with a blaster, Padme's specialties lie in speaking and thinking clearly about justice and in serving and defending this ideal. And here we see the next picture of her. This has the feel of coming from the Clone Wars, the cartoon series. The outfit does remind me very much of that, and the style is like that as well, but obviously there's so many different artists contributed to this volume, and all of the artwork is just fantastic. So it says, the quote there, I will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war. The nature of Padme's career creates a duality of sorts we don't see many other characters navigate. As the Queen of Naboo, she wears elaborate gowns and makeup that obscures her face. The mask-like cosmetics are helpful when one of Padme's loyal handmaidens steps in to disguise herself as her decoy, but it also delineates her role in office. In full Queen attire, she also speaks in a deeper tone and carries herself in a more regal manner. It suggests the way in which she understands the balance and distinction between her personal and professional lives, an aspect also evident when she marries Anakin Skywalker in secret in Attack of the Clones. Padme's wardrobe reflects the way she stands in two worlds. When she's alone with Anakin, the lines of her costumes are softer. When she's sitting as queen or serving in the Senate, her ensembles are heavier and more formal. She wears the weight of office. Costume designer Trisha Begar imagined more than 30 costumes for Padme in the prequels at the behest of George Lucas. His scripts expanded the fashion of the galaxy to show more opulent looks than the ones featured in the original trilogy. One of the most complex of Padme's gowns is the red throne room dress she dons as Queen of Naboo. The Chinese imperial court influence garment took almost 8 weeks to finish, and that's just one of her outfits. I'm very much reminded of those amazing outfits you see in the Bollywood movies that also take that amount of time, but probably for a fraction of the cost. After completing 2 terms as a beloved queen, Padme accepts an appointment to the Galactic Senate. As the Separatist alliance forms, the Senate debates the formation of a military, and we see Padme strongly oppose this move. The position nearly gets her killed. Zam Wesell tries to assassinate her the night before the vote, but Padme is more concerned about the fate the galaxy will suffer in wartime than for her personal safety. Once the Clone Wars begins, she fights against the creation of additional soldiers. In Star Wars: The Clone Wars, she pleads with the Republic to use funds to aid its citizens instead of creating 5 million more clones. My people, your people, all our people. The war is meant to save them from suffering, not increase it. It is our duty and our responsibility to preserve the lives of those around us by defeating this bill. And here we see the next picture in the spread, and it is this one, basically, where she's fighting, was it the Nexu, I think it was called? That tiger-like creature in the Geonosis arena. Again, fantastic artwork. In the Clone Wars, we also see Padme head into the field to gather information herself, sometimes on her own initiative, and sometimes at the request of the Jedi. Her trips are of a diplomatic nature, but at times she's required to enter into, as she calls it, aggressive negotiations. In one case, as she prepares to embark on a risky off-world mission to determine a fellow senator's true motives, Anakin tries to tell Padme she's not allowed to go. She will have none of it. You're not going to let me. It's not your decision to make. It's mine. Excuse me. In her role as a diplomat, she sees the importance of maintaining a pragmatic, clear-eyed perspective when the galaxy and the players around her are in a heightened, agitated state. Padme passes on a more complete picture of the war between the Separatists and the Republic to Ahsoka Tano and opens the Padawan's eyes to the deeper currents of the conflict, nuance Anakin doesn't see since he really only knows the Republic's side. She leads by example, negotiating with the likes of Duchess Satine Kryze, ruler of the planet Mandalore, and Separatist Senator Mina Bonteri. Padme is willing to set partisanship aside if it means coming to an accord that ends the war. Voice actress Catherine Tabor sees Padme as a role model and cites the character's open perspective as a quality she admires. She has taught me about compassion. Despite her elite history as both a queen and a politician, she is able to cross all kinds of boundaries that often isolate us from one another, maintaining meaningful relationships with people from all different walks of life and opposing views. She seeks out commonalities as opposed to differences. I admire that tremendously. Padme puts her career on the line for the sake of the galaxy too. Some senators believe the narrative that Supreme Chancellor Palpatine weaves throughout the war, even as he begins to twist it against the Jedi. Padme doesn't suspect Palpatine as actually a dangerous Sith Lord, but she knows something is wrong and shares her concern with a small group of politicians, including Bail Organa and Mon Mothma. Now, here we see her. I assume this is on Mustafar. Very sad that was, of course. Although I did get the feeling like Luke Skywalker, she died for no reason. But I suppose she had to die in the overall narrative because she couldn't still be around by the time A New Hope came about. The quote on this page is, "Far too often we forget that our most important allies are not always the most powerful." Now, the small group of senators, including Bail Organa and Mon Mothma. Her goal here, as always, is to try to preserve peace in the Republic. As the Clone Wars spiral into chaos and Palpatine names himself as Emperor of the New Galactic Empire, most of the Senate cheers, but not Padme. Standing with Bail, she observes, "This is how liberty dies," with thunderous applause. And that is just such a great line. I love that line. Bail and Mon later become primary architects in the rebellion against this new corrupt and evil empire. Padme Amidala's legacy is much more than the children she gave birth to, Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa. Her final words encapsulate her life. Still seeing the possibility for light within Anakin, she tells Obi-Wan there is good in him. She believes in others and in the galaxy to the very end. Yes, a great character, and she's coming out in the 6-inch Black Series, so I'm very much looking forward to getting that as and when that is. That'll be sometime this year, I expect. But yes, Padme Amidala, she is awesome, of course, mother of the Skywalkers, queen, senator. She was just fantastic, and I really liked her in the Clone Wars as well. But yes, there you go, guys. That is just what Women of the Galaxy has to say about Padme Amidala. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or suggestion for an upcoming topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.